much for joining me. I was so excited to leave this session last week. And then I got some really great feedback and people wanted an encore, so I was pumped to do that as well. And my goal, as most of you guys know, I'm going through yoga teacher training. So I have about 2 more weekends left, but it's really important to the teacher that we do that in person. So we're putting a bit of a pause on it and taking this opportunity to practice teach and to study up on all of the things that we've been learning. But I really wanted to make the most of my time here and George, you're embarrassing me. Start practice teaching. So I figured what better way to do it than with friends and family of friends and friends of friends. So excited that you guys were able to join. And the goal is for me to do this every Saturday. I will have a new spicy sequence for you next week, but this week will be an encore for those of you guys who joined last week. And maybe you'll find yourself getting a little bit deeper in this stretch. I loved the idea of pairing these classes with a quick run or a walk, anything just to get the blood flowing. We're terrible as runners, but as humans in stretching after runs. So I figured why not build some good habits here while we're at our mat. So for those of you who are able to go out for a run or walk before, awesome. For those who were not, hopefully you'll have some time to carve out after, even if it is just a walk around the block, get the blood moving. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat, please. That can either be with knees bent in front of you and your hips back to your heels, or in a cross-legged position. Bring your hands to rest on your knees. Ground down through your sit bones. Oh my gosh, George sees this strap. Hold on. Come on, George, give me a break. Ground down through your sit bones. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Close your eyes and start to bring the focus to your breath. Wanted to practice a 1-2 ratio of your breath. So what that looks like is bringing your attention to how long it takes for a full inhale, and then doubling that for the length of your exhale. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Inhale. Double the length with your exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Finding your own pace. The theme of the class that I designed this class around is one of the yamas, which is a guideline for living a yogic lifestyle. And this yama in particular is called aparigraha. It's this idea of non-possession and non-grasping. And what it all boils down to is really sticking to what you need at this present moment. So if you find yourself in abundance of energy, possession, or feeling, you're going out there and sharing it with your network. And if you find yourself going out there trying to get whatever you're looking for, you're sticking with just that and not giving in to the scarcity mindset. This idea of a parigraha is so applicable to what is going on right now here in the new normalcy of quarantine. Just yesterday, I went to Costco and Target, and there's a lot of signs all around about really limiting certain items for one per customer. And if you decide you want to think about what your approach is to your new norm, you're more than welcome to that. Or perhaps this time in quarantine, this time that's really forced us to hunker down and focus on what's important, has taught you a lesson, in some case, about what you need and what you don't need. Inhale through the nose. Exhale with a sigh. Inhale through the nose, bringing the shoulders up to your ears. Exhale with a sigh, releasing the shoulders back, creating space between your ears and your shoulders. Last one and strongest one yet. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth, blowing it all out. At the end of your last exhale, walk your hands in front of you and bring your knees behind you, finding yourself in a tabletop position. In this tabletop position, we're creating a rectangular space with the negative space of our body. So shoulders stack over shoulders stack over wrists, and hips stack over your knees. Now, we talked about this last week, how important it is for your hands to be actively engaged throughout the practice. Oftentimes we hear about complaints with wrist pains, and oftentimes it's because we're really pressing a lot of our pressure and weight into the heel of our hands. So take a moment here to make those fingertips white by pressing down into your mat, and then just as your knuckles start to lift off the mat, press those down as well, almost like you're creating a suction cup with your hands. This is called your Hasta Bandha. On an inhale, flip the tailbone up to the sky, drop the belly down to the ground and roll your shoulders back here in cow pose, Bithalasana. Exhale, press down into the palms, rounding the upper back just in between the shoulder blades. Tuck the chin for cat pose, Marjariasana. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And 3 more, linking your own breath to movement. At the end of your last exhale, find a neutral tabletop position. Inhale, extend the right foot backwards, flexing the foot so the toes point down to the mat. Your heel is pressing into the imaginary wall behind you. Inhale, the left arm reaches towards the front of the room. Left thumb is pointed up to the sky. Exhale, bring your knee to elbow, connecting just under the torso. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. This time on a long inhale, you can rotate your palm so that it faces out to the left side. Roll it up to the sky and bend your right knee so that the right heel comes close to your right glute. Grab the pinky side edge of the right foot with the palm and start to kick the right foot into the left palm, opening up the chest. Do a quick self-check here to make sure that your shoulder is still stacked over your wrist. Slowly release the foot and hand. Inhale, reaches the right heel towards the back of the room, left fingertips towards the front. Exhale, bring your left hand down, right knee down. Can rock your hips side to side. Balancing it out on the left side. Inhale, reach the left heel back. Left foot is flexed so that the toes are pointed to the ground. And your left heel is pressing into that imaginary wall behind you. Inhale, reach your right hand to the front of the room. Right thumb is pointed up to the sky. Exhale, elbow and comes to knee underneath your torso. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Rotate your right hand so that the right palm is facing towards the right side of the room. And on a long inhale, reach the right hand back, bend the left knee so that the left heel comes closer to the glute. And your right hand is wrapped around the pinky side of your left foot. Kick into that left foot to open up the chest here. And again, quick self-check, making sure that your left shoulder is stacked over your left wrist. Slowly release the bind, reaching and extending out with an inhale, and exhale, planting your right hand down, left knee down. Tuck the toes, press down into your palms, and bring your hips up and back for Down Dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Engaging the Hasta Bandha, energy is going from the fingertips through the wrists, elbows, and shoulders. As this is our first down dog, feel free to take some organic movement. Maybe you want to pedal out the feet, walking your dog. We already did that, George. One variation that I really like is bringing your heels to each side. So inhale, bring your heels up to the sky. Exhale, pivot both left and right heel down to the right side. Press down into your hands, making sure that your shoulders are still parallel to the mat. And starting to feel this stretch quite a bit in the right and left legs. I feel this in my right calf, my right hip flexor. Inhale, bring your heels back up to the sky. And exhale, rotate the feet down so that the heels are pressed down into the left side of your mat. Now feeling this stretch quite a bit on the left calf and left hip flexor too. Inhale, bring the heels back up to the sky. Exhale, fold in, chest towards the legs. Inhale, lift to the top of your mat. Exhale, step your feet in between your hands. Fold your chest down to your thighs. First of many uttanasanas, or forward folds. So just like we took some organic movement with the down dog, feel free to do this with the forward fold. On a long inhale, roll on up into standing. Arms come out to the sides and then reach towards the sky. Palms face one another. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, chest to legs. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingertips come to the mat or palms come to your shins. Bringing your shoulders up towards the front of the room and making your back parallel to the mat. Keeping that lift in your chest, exhale, plant your hands down. Step your left and right foot back. Here for Phalakasana. High plank, inhale, press into the palms and press into that space in between the shoulder blades like someone has their palms resting on your back. Exhale, you can lower down to your knees and slowly bring your body to the ground. With your hands planted just underneath your shoulders, bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Press down into the toenails, into the front of the pelvis as well. And on an inhale, bring your chest off the ground. This is our first of 3 spinal strengthening poses. So right now we have little to no weight in our palms. if this is what's most comfortable for you, like if you have any like past of lower back pain or you hurt your lower back, you can continue to do just this and just play around with how much weight you're putting into your fingertips. If you're looking to go a little bit deeper, I'll give you options on the next 2 rounds. Plant your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck the toes, and on an inhale, come on up into either high plank or tabletop position. Exhale, hips go up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step your feet in between your hands. Press down into your feet, and on an inhale, roll up into standing. Arms come out to the side and up to the sky. Urdhva Hastasana, reach up, lengthening throughout the body. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, creating space, opening up in the chest. Exhale, plant your hands down, step your left and right foot back, and stay here in this high plank for an inhale. Pressing into that space in between your shoulder blades. Exhale, lower your body down to the ground. This time on an inhale, bring your hands to interlace at the low back. Press down into the tops of the feet in front of the pelvis and bring your bound fists towards your heels. Feeling this in the shoulder blades quite a bit. Stay here for an exhale. Inhale, see if you can go a little bit higher. And exhale, release the hands, bring them to plant underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, and on an inhale, come on up into that high plank position. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step your feet in between your hands. Press down into your feet, and on a long inhale, roll up into standing. Arms extend out to side, fingertips reaching towards the sky. Exhale, waterfall your hands over, chest comes to thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down. Stay here for an inhale, pressing into that imaginary palm. And exhale, lower down to the ground, all the way down to your bellies. This time, you can bring your right and left heels towards your glute and reach for the outside of your right and left ankles. This is bow pose, Dhanurasana. And what's so helpful in this case is that you have the strength of your legs to help you pull your chest open. So on an inhale, kick into your feet. Make sure that your knees aren't wider than hip width distance to help with alignment, and start to lift your chest off the ground. If you find it beneficial, you can also rock back and forth. Once you ground down, kick into that feet a little higher with an inhale. See how high you can lift off your chest off the ground. And exhale, release down. Hands plant underneath your shoulders. Toes tucked behind you. Inhale, press up into high plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right hand to the front of your mat like we did in our tabletop position. Exhale, reach your right hand towards the outside of your left calf. Bend into your right elbow, using the strength of your bicep to bring your right shoulder even closer to your left knee. And bring the gaze underneath your left armpit. Inhale, right hand comes up to the front of the room. Exhale, plant the right hand down. Inhale, lift the left hand, reaching towards the front of the room. Exhale, reach the left hand to the outside of the right calf. Bend the left elbow using the strength of your left bicep to bring your left shoulder closer to your right knee. Gaze comes underneath the right elbow. Inhale, reach the left hand towards the front of the room. Exhale, plant the left hand down. Inhale, look to the top of your mat and step or jump your feet in between your hands. Feet together, toes touch. Bend your knees, bringing the weight to your heels. So you should be able to wiggle your toes if you want to give yourself a little bit of a self-check. Inhale, bring your arms up to the front of the room, and then bring them up to the sky so that the biceps are just around the ears. Exhale, airplane arms, engaging the triceps. Inhale, arms reach out in front of you, Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, airplane arms. On your next inhale, interlace the fingers at the low back and roll your shoulders back. Pressing your knees together, starting to really feel this burn in the inner thighs. Exhale, straighten the knees, bring the bound fist to the sky for forward fold. If you're feeling any pain in this position, feel free to add a micro bend to your knees. Don't feel like you need to lock them out. If anything, I feel a deeper stretch when I have a mini bend in my knees here in forward fold. Exhale, release the hands down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands down for high plank. Step your left and right foot back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips come up and back to the sky. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky behind you. Exhale, with control, step your right foot just behind your right hand. Pivot your left foot down so that your left foot's at a 45-degree angle. Left toe points towards the top left corner of your mat. Bend your right knee so the knee stacks over your right ankle. Press down into the right foot and lift your arms up to the sky. Shoulders stack over your hips. The big difference between Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1, this pose, and 2, which we'll get into later, is this is a closed hip pose. So your hips should be facing towards the front of the mat. In this case, this might mean drawing your right hip back and left hip forward. Exhale, bring your hands to frame the right foot. Pivot the left heel so that it comes back up to the sky and bring your right foot back and up behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, release the right foot down. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step or jump your feet in between your hands. Weight comes to the heels. Toes touch, but again, we're wiggling the toes to make sure we're not putting any weight or pressure into them. Bend the knees to bring your seat closer to the mat and bring your hands up to the sky. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, airplane arms, engage the triceps. Inhale, reach forward. See if you can sink a little bit deeper. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, interlace the fingers at low back, pulling those bound fists towards the mat, opening up your chest a little bit more. Exhale, straighten the knees, fold chest over your thighs, bound fists come to the sky. Exhale, release your right and left hands down to frame the feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down, step your feet back. High plank pose. Exhale, hips come down and back, or up and back, excuse me, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring the left leg to the sky. Slowly, with control, step your left foot behind your left hand. Pivot the right foot down so that the right foot's at a 45-degree angle. Left knee is stacked over the left ankle as you press into the left foot and open up. Bringing your chest off of your thighs, shoulders stack over hips. Again, remembering this is a closed hip pose. So in this case, you'll draw your left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Pivot the right heel up to the sky and bring the left foot up behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, plant the left foot down, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step your feet in between your hands. Number 3 of 4 chair poses. We see a light at the end of the tunnel here. Toes touch, weight in the heels, bend the knees, and bring the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands come to prayer. And go for a twist, bringing the left elbow comes to the outside of your right knee. Now in this case, my left hip starts to want to come up forward, so just make sure that you're drawing your right hip back to keep your hips neutral. Here in this twist pose, thinking about aparigraha, non-possession, non-grasping. This literally feels like we're wringing out our body, bringing out any excess. So with every inhale, maybe bring that thought, emotion, or energy to mind, and exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Exhale, hands frame the feet. Step the left foot back. Heel is still lifted. 90-degree bend in your right foot. Left heel is still lifted, I guess I should say. 90-degree bend in your right knee. And press into the right foot to lift your chest off of the right thigh. Here in Anjaneyasana, high crescent pose. High crescent lunge. Press down into the ball of your left foot to lift the left heel even deeper. This is going to help energize your back leg, so you're not working with just the front leg here. On an exhale, rotate your arms so that the right hand reaches towards the back of your mat, the left hand reaches towards the front of your mat. Here in this open twist. On an inhale, swim the right arm down and up to meet the left. Reach for the sky. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame the right foot here in low lunge. Step your left foot forward to shorten out the stance. Still at a 45-degree angle, bring the left heel down to the ground. You can straighten the right knee and inhale, halfway lift, creating so that the shoulders and back are parallel to the mat. Exhale, fold over your right leg. Feeling this quite a bit in the right hip, hamstrings. I even feel some tension in the right glute after my mini walk today. Breathe into it, inhaling, identifying where you feel it in your body, and exhaling, maybe releasing it. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, step your left foot to meet the right. Number 4 of 4 chair poses. Toes come together, weight comes to the heels, bend the knees, bringing the seat closer to the ground. Arms come up to the sky in a long inhale. Exhale, hands come to prayer. Right elbow comes to outside of the left knee. Now, last time we were in this pose, on the other side, we talked about the metaphysical parts of it, kind of the emotional part of all the excess stuff that we're wringing out. But biologically, this is also really great for our digestive system, as we're constraining the blood flow to certain organs, and then once we release it, it flushes it all out. Remember to dial your right hip back if you feel that the right hip is creeping up. And exhale, hands frame the feet. This time, step your right foot back into low lunge. Right heel is up to the sky. Left knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. Press down into the left foot to lift your chest off of your leg. And here in Anjaneyasana, crescent pose. Our front foot is just as important, our back foot is just as important as our front foot. So if you find yourself kind of just sinking into this front foot and not really engaging in the right leg, you're not getting the full benefits of the pose. So that's why I encourage you to press into the ball of your right foot to lift the right heel off the ground and really strengthen the right quad. Exhale, rotate your hand so that the left hand reaches towards the back of your mat, right hand reaches towards the front. Inhale, swim your left arm down to meet, and then up to meet the right. Anjaneyasana, power pose here. Exhale, waterfall your hands down to frame the left foot. We should be taking power poses. We already did 4 chair poses. Step your right foot forward. Pivot your right heel. So again, finding that 45-degree angle that we found in Warrior 1. Straighten the left knee. Inhale, lift the chest up here, creating space. And then exhale, fold over the left leg. Again, any pain that you're feeling in your knee joints, feel free to add micro bends. That really applies to any pose throughout the practice. Inhale, look to the front of your mat. Exhale, step your right foot to meet your left. Inhale, roll up into standing. Arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant on both sides of your feet. Step your feet back. Couple options here. You can go through chaturanga if that's in your practice. You can come into down dog if you'd like to still bring some heat. If you're looking for just a little bit of a reset, a little bit of a break, bring your knees down to the mat. Knees are mat width distance apart. Toes touch. And hips come back to your heels for Balasana, child's pose. Rest your chest and forehead into the mat. This is such a great pose to bring your focus back to your breath, as you're quite literally putting blinders on to everything else around you. Inhale, lift the forehead, lift the chest, draw your hands close up, tuck the toes, and bring the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right foot behind you up to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot in between your hands. Left foot pivots so that the left foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Press down into the right foot, bend the right knee, and stack your shoulders over hips. On an inhale, reach through the arms. Exhale, bring the right hand to reach towards the front of the room. Left hand reaches towards the back of the room. Arms are parallel to the ground. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. This open hip pose, our hips are open towards the left side of the room. Different sensation than what we had in Warrior 1. Now, to hold myself accountable and keeping both of my legs engaged, I really like to press down into my feet, very similar into what we talked about Hasta Bandha with pressing down into the fingertips. See how actively you can press down into your toes and heels. Maybe even pretend that you're trying to slide your feet closer without having them move, and you'll start to feel that stretch in the inner thigh. Or burn, whatever. One or the other. Exhale, rotate your arm down. Right arm reaches down to the ground. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Extended side angle, Utthita Parsvottanasana. Bring your shoulders back a tad. So there should be a straight line from shoulders to the hip all the way down to your heels. On a long inhale, cartwheel the arms up and back, reaching the right hand up to the sky, then back behind you. Right palm faces towards the mat. Your left hand can either rest on your left quad or left calf, not too much weight in there. Or if you'd like to do a half bind, you can reach the left palm or reach the arm just behind the lower back, palm facing out. You may even be able to grab the right thigh with your left fingertips. If you have that hand bind, go ahead and release it. Press down into your right foot, straightening the right leg, reaching further back with your right hand, here reverse triangle, and feel how that stretch has moved from the right quad and right outer hip to the right outer hip and right side body. Cartwheel your hands down to frame the right foot. Pivot the left heel so it's facing up to the sky. Press down into your right foot and maybe start to hop off of your left, coming into standing splits, balancing on the right foot. Now your hands in general can come maybe like a foot in front of your right foot. You can lay your palms down or even have your fingertips tented. Make sure that your right toes are pointed forward. Left foot is flexed so that the toes are pointed down to the mat. This helps us even out the hips so the left hip isn't coming up too high. We want to keep those hips parallel to the ground. Another trick I like is bringing my right hand just above my tailbone, and that's a good tell if one hip is higher than the other. Exhale, step your left foot back, crescent lunge, plant the hands down and bring your right foot up to the sky. You can bend your right knee, opening up the right hip, maybe drawing circles with your right knee. Clockwise a couple rounds, counterclockwise a couple rounds, or even just rotating your ankle. And exhale, plant the right leg down. Wow, the difference between my right leg and left leg is pretty obvious to me right now. So we're gonna go ahead and even that out. Inhale, bring your left foot up to the sky. Exhale, left foot steps in between your feet. Rotate your right foot so that it's parallel to the back of your mat. 90-degree bend in the left knee. Press down into the left foot, bringing the shoulders to stack over the hips. Open up to your right, arms extend out to the front and back of your mat. Arms are parallel to the ground. Find your drishti gaze, your point of focus, just beyond the left middle finger. And since we were really activating our Padabandha, our feet, last time, I encourage you to do the same with this, pressing down into your toes, down into your heels, and again, maybe trying to see if you can actively bring your feet closer without them moving an inch. Ooh, I just got a hip pop. This is a good one though. Exhale, rotate your hands down, left hand comes up, left hand comes to the ground, right hand comes up to the sky. Extended side angle. Utthita Parsvakonasana. So important here again to press your shoulders back like there's an imaginary wall behind you, so you're not folding over to the right side. Inhale, press into the left foot to rotate your left hand up to the sky, palm facing towards the back of the room. Viparita Virabhadrasana, or reverse warrior. Commit to the bend in the front knee. And whatever arm variation is accessible for you, feel free to find that here on the left side. Press down into the left foot to straighten the left knee. Feel that stretch move from the left quad up through the left hip and into the left side body. Reverse triangle here. Sometimes I like to come up a little bit, so I'm not dumping fully into my right side body. I'm creating space, reaching up to the sky, and then folding over. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the left foot. Pivot your right foot so the heel comes up to the sky. Press down into the left foot and start to kick off your right. Maybe finding a little bit of balance into each. And then moving into standing splits, balancing on your left foot. Fingers can be tented just about a foot in front of your left foot, or palms can be placed down on the ground. Flex the right foot, toes point towards the ground to help even out your hips. Another good tell is how parallel your shoulders are to the ground. And then lastly, you can always use that hands trick that I shared, placing the back of my palm on just above the tailbone to see if one hip is higher than the other. On a slow exhale, lower the right foot down, come up on an inhale to Anjaneyasana, crescent pose. Exhale, waterfall the hands down to frame the left foot. Bring the left foot up and back for three-legged dog. And bend the right knee, opening up the left hip here, taking hip circles, or excuse me, making circles with your knees. Just make sure that you keep it even if you're doing clockwise and counterclockwise. If movement isn't really feeling great for you, again, just open hip and starting to rotate the left ankle. Mini circles there with the feet. I'm getting mini cracks in here. Then exhale, lower the left foot down to the ground. Here in down dog, feeling the difference in the lower body. What is felt more open, more energized, potentially even tighter if we're holding still some like a lot of stress or anxiety in those hips since when we first stepped on the mat. Inhale, since we just took a lot of time, inhale, look to the top of your mat. And since we just took a lot of time with our legs, let's slowly, taking baby steps, walk your feet up to meet your hands, finding a micro stretch in every single one of those movements. Inhale, slowly roll up into standing. Hands are resting. Hands rest just beside you here in Tadasana. So some foot exercises to help with balance. Just know that if there's a wall near you, we're going to go into a few different balancing, and it's okay to use a wall as we're building up our strength with that. I'd much rather you have something to build on than fall over. But as I'm walking you through a demonstration, I want you to start exploring the different parts of your feet, all four quadrants, if you will. So even rolling on your toes, coming up into tippy toes, rolling on your heels, rolling to the nice side edge of your feet, and then also rolling onto the arch side of your feet. Feeling how much space you really have, even when you're just going to be balancing on one foot. So our peak pose is extended hand to foot pose, Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. We are going to add a twist to help us strengthen the IT bands. So I'm going to show you what this looks like first, and then I'll get you into a couple poses to warm you up. But just check me out for alignment purposes, and then we'll get into it all together. So here's what you'll need: your strap, jump rope, tie, scarf, whatever. We'll start with the left foot. Bring the strap just to the ball of the left foot, so right where the toes meet the feet. As I press down through both of my feet, I am also taking my left hand and finding the left hip crease of my left leg. Press down into your left foot and start to hover your right. Bend the right knee so that it's on the outside of your right elbow. First part is just stacking your shoulders over your hips. I know I've said this before, but this is important. It's going to help you find that balance. As you want to go into it further, inhale, press the heel out for Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Maybe you can walk your hands a little bit closer to your feet. Maybe you can grab your toe, whatever works best for you. Inhale, reach your hand up to the left hand up to the sky. And here's where we're adding the twist. Left hand comes to the strap. Right hand comes out to our side. This is going to be the full peak pose, and we'll come out of it just as mindfully as we came into it. If for whatever reason this is not accessible, or you're like, Ash, you're crazy, just go as far as you can, and rest assured I am going to do a version of this on our backs where we don't have to worry about balancing. We don't have to worry about gravity. In that case, it's actually working in our favor. So, meeting us back into Tadasana, keep the strap nearby, but you don't need to hold onto it. First pose, hopefully you've been warming up the feet. If not, take a little bit of roll, inside, outside, tops, front of the feet, back of the feet. Press down into the left foot. Bend the right knee so that it's parallel to your right hip. Ekapada Tadasana, one-legged Tadasana. Bring your bottom of your right foot to rest on the left inner thigh or left calf. You can also use a kickstand here. Whatever is going to help you open up the hips. Find whatever arm variation suits you. And we'll stay here for 2 breaths. Release the arm variation, bring the right foot back down to the ground. Here's our time to shine with that strap. Bringing the strap to the bottom of the ball of the right foot. Left hand finds the left hip crease of your left leg. Press down into the left foot, hover the right foot, bend the right knee to the outside of the right elbow, shoulders stack over hips. On your next inhale, press the heel out in front of you to extend the right leg forward. Again, micro bends are totally cool here. With our breath, reach the left hand up to the sky. Exhale, left hand comes to the strap. Release the strap with your right and open up to the right side, feeling this stretch in the right IT band. Coming out of it graciously, mindfully, closing the book with our right hand. Left hand comes up to the sky. Right knee bends to the outside of the elbow. Left hand to left hip crease. And lower the right foot down. All right, good job. We're gonna do it on the other side so you don't walk around like a peg leg pirate, because I already feel like one leg is longer than the other. So keeping the strap nearby, press down into your right foot, bend the left knee so that it's parallel with the left hip, flex the left foot. Left foot comes on the inside of the left calf or left thigh. Left knee points out, same direction and line as your left shoulder. Choose whatever arm variation you would like to take for 2 breaths here. Exhale, release the hand, release the foot down. Find your strap. Wrap the strap around the ball of the left foot. Press down into your right foot. Hover the left off the ground. Left knee bends into the outside of the left elbow. Shoulders stack over hips. On an inhale, actively press into the left heel to straighten the left leg out in front of you. Right hand comes up to the sky. Exhale, right hand comes to the strap. Left hand comes to the back of the room. Feeling this in the IT band on the left side. Slowly come out of it like we came into it. Left hand comes to the strap. Right hand comes up to the sky. Left knee bends to the outside of the left elbow. Right hand comes to the hip. Slowly lower the left leg down. Congratulations. Now, whatever your peak was for that peak pose, you guys should be very stoked about it. It's not an easy one. But like I said, we can explore this a little bit more. It's great for IT bands. That's what I really have a lot of hard time with running and with walking. So maybe you bring this into your daily practice when you go on a run. Quick stretch after. So helpful, whether you do it standing or lying down. Inhale, arms come up to the sky. Exhale, fold over, Uttanasana. This time, bring your heels up a little bit. So you're pressing into the ball of the feet. Feel how that stretch moves as you roll into the heels and lift the toes up to the sky. Coming into a tuck, round, and curl, we can walk our hands a little bit in front of us. Bend the knees, bringing the seat closer to the heels, and slowly start to lower your knees down to the ground. Keeping your toes tucked, we're just gonna do a round of fire toes. I preach a lot about the foundation of our legs, our feet, and I'm sure we all know that. Coming into this fire toes position, go ahead and check. You might need to tuck your pinky toe back in. That's the one that keeps on trying to escape for me. But this fire toes position is so awesome to stretch the bottoms of your feet. I got injured the last time I was training for a race, and I pulled the muscle that holds up my arch. And this has been something that I've been trying to bring into every time I go for a walk or go for a run. Just after taking my shoes off, give my feet some love, because more often than not, we're plopping around. So maybe see how long you can hold this for. You're bringing it into your daily practice. I guarantee that you'll be able to hold it for a little bit longer. A counter stretch that I like to bring with it is then to also stretch the tops of my feet. So in that case, you can walk your hands up towards out in front of you. Untuck the toes, maybe kick into your mat. Bring some extra blood flow into that. Rest the shins and the tops of the feet onto your mat and bring your hips back to your heels. Depending on what your level of stretch is, you're probably going to start off with your hands planted just right next to your knees, and use the muscles in your arms to lift your knees off of the ground. If you're not really feeling anything there, walk your hands back a little bit closer to your seat. Do the same thing. You can push yourself a little bit deeper. And here we're really feeling the stretch in the shoelace sides of our feet. So since we gave the bottoms of our feet a lot of love, this counter stretch is giving the tops of our feet a lot of love. Exhale, slowly lower those knees down. Swing your legs out to either side, bringing your feet out in front of you. Feet are flexed, arms reach up to the sky, and exhale, forward fold, reaching for either the tops of the shins, tops of the feet, maybe even outside of the feet. Biggest thing here is just to make sure that you have your chest lifted. Same thing that we were talking about when during the halfway lifts and even in our plank positions. Rather than round out the back just to try to get our chin closer to our legs, it's not really helping anybody. Extend and reach through the crown of your head, lengthening out the back, making it a little bit straighter, and then pull that straight chest towards your thighs. Exhale, slowly walk your hands to the side, coming into sitting, and then resting on your back. Inhale, step your feet so that your bottoms of your feet are planted into the mat. Fingertips should be able to graze the heels. Press down into your feet and inhale, lift your hips up from the mat. You can kind of shimmy your shoulders underneath if you want to feel a little bit of the chest opening here too. But really this focus is on your glutes, strengthening the hamstrings since we spent so much time stretching them. And exhale, lower the seat down to the ground. Inhale, bring your right leg up to the sky. Right ankle comes to the top of the left thigh. Lift the left foot off of the mat, bringing both feet closer to you, and interlace your fingers just behind the left hamstring. I really like to press my right elbow into my right knee to find a deeper stretch in the right hip. Release the hands. Shimmy the right knee so that it stacks over the left knee, and bring your feet closer to your body, reaching for the pinky side of your feet, but make sure that your hands are wrapped over the tops of your feet, not on the bottoms. Rest your head down to the ground, and using the strength of your biceps, you can pull the feet in closer to the mat. Deep stretch here in the right glute, right outer hip. Supta Gomukhasana, or reclined cow face pose. Release the hands. Release the left foot so that your left leg extends to the front of the mat. And bring your right knee to the chest for a quick squeeze here. Find your strap and place the strap just at the ball of your right foot. Grab the strap with your right hand. Press down into your left hip and place your left palm up and on top of your left hip. Open up, right foot extends out to the right side. Both feet are flexed. Left heel is pressing into the mat. When I do that, I feel an even deeper stretch in my left hip. But here we're stretching the hamstrings, maybe even getting into the groin if you're able to bring the foot a little bit closer to your head. Inhale, bring the left foot up to the sky. Switch out your hands so the left foot grabs for the strap. Right hand comes out to a T, palm face down. And with a slow exhale, bring the right foot over to the left side. Actively pressing into your left foot as well. Feeling the stretch in the right glute and right IT band. Supta Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. As promised, this is a great way to stretch your IT band post-run, post-walk, without having to worry about gravity. In fact, gravity is like adjusting us here. Inhale, bring your right heel up to the sky. Release your foot from the strap and bring it on down. Now again, you've got this pirate peg leg with your left leg, so let's stretch that out. Feet step towards your hips. Bottoms of the feet are planted onto the mat. Press down into your feet and inhale, lift the hips off of the ground. Stay here for an exhale. Inhale, press the hips up even higher. Exhale, lower the hips down. This time, left foot comes up to the sky. Left ankle rests on top of right knee or thigh. Lift the right knee, bringing the left shin closer to your body, And interlace the fingers at the right hamstring. Recline figure 4. Anytime that you're in a studio and they're putting or taking any yoga and they offer up pigeon, and just for whatever reason that's not accessible for you, this is another position that's a little bit more friendlier on the knees. After I tore my ACL, I could not do pigeon for a while, so this is what I did. Great hip opener. Dig even deeper by pressing the left elbow into the left knee. Release the hands. Shimmy the left knee over the right knee. Bring the knees in closer to the torso and reach over the tops of the feet to grab for the pinky edge side of your right and left foot. Bend your elbows and use the strength in your biceps to bring the heels closer to the mat. This time feeling a deep stretch in your left hip, left glute. I also like to even grab my feet a little bit deeper and pull my feet to like the like outside, so it reaches outside even further. I'm not sure if that made sense, but it made sense in my hand a little bit. Exhale, release the hands, right leg straight, right heel pressed into the ground, left leg straight, left ball of the foot up to the sky, and wrap the strap just under the ball of the left foot. Bring your right palm to rest on the right hip, acting as your reminder to keep your right hip down as you slowly start to open the left foot over to the left side. Inhale, left foot comes back up to the sky. Switch the hands out. Right hand comes to the strap, left hand comes out to a T. Press down into your right heel and bring the left foot out to the right side. Inhale, identify where you feel the stretch. Identify that thought, energy, possession, or intention that you came to mind when you thought of a parigraha. This is another pose of bringing it out. On your inhale, identify where you feel that stretch, and exhale, melt into it. Inhale, left foot comes up to the sky. Bend the left knee into the torso for a quick squeeze here. Bring both feet so that they reach up for the sky here in legs up the wall. This is a great pose because it's half inversion, half forward fold. And what I learned about forward folds is that they're very calming poses. So standing forward fold, Paschimottanasana, where we're sitting and we were reaching for our feet, that's a calming pose. This is a calming pose as well. But it also acts as an inversion because we're kind of literally flipping our body on its head. feet are up to the sky, we're resetting the blood flow without having to balance on our hands. So anytime that you're looking to maybe focus, re-energize, highly recommend this pose. Couple breaths, and hopefully you find it as a nice reset. You can bend the knees and then slowly lower your feet down to the ground. Plant your feet so that they are mat width distance or just outside of the mat. And bring your knees to knock into one another. We did bridge pose. This is broken bridge pose. And with all the external hip rotations, this is again another great counter stretch because we're internally rotating our hips. Plant the feet back down, bringing your knees in, wrap your arms across your knees. In for a big squeeze here. Inhale and hold. Exhale, release. Arms come to your side. Feet reach towards the front of the mat. Heels touch, feet flop open. Aparigraha, the idea of non-possession and non-grasping. We're quite literally in this state of surrender here in Shavasana. On your next inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. You can roll to either side and come up into sitting. My apologies for keeping you guys a little bit longer than intended, but hopefully you got some extra love with those extra stretches. Hands come to heart center. Thank you guys so much. Namaste.